Hi, greetings from the United Kingdom. My name's Andrew Hodson, and I'm currently working in the Black Country, which is an area west of Birmingham, in the central part of England. And our work is to reach into the unchurched areas of our region. Currently, 90 odd, maybe 99%, even more of 99% of people in our area don't go to church, are not believers, and therefore we have a major work, a task ahead of us to try and reach these people with the gospel and with the kingdom of God. We live in the Black Country, which, as I've said already, which is an area which used to be a very industrialised area. It was the centre of the UK some years ago for industrialisation. The Industrial Revolution started here 200 years ago, and obviously that has disappeared over the last century or so due to exports and people moving over to the other parts of the world and making products cheaper, which has left our area in a bit of a hole and a bit of a despair, and it's recovering slowly, but the people of the whole of hope are very about hope, and therefore the message of God is just so important to our needy area. Therefore we are looking to abroad to help us, and Amy and Marshall have kindly offered and heard the call of God to come to our part of the world, and therefore I'm making this video just to share with you something in my heart and of my thankfulness for allowing them to come and supporting them, whether it be through prayer or finance or just in encouragement. As obviously coming to England is very different than being in America. It may be Western, but the culture here is very different to America, just as the North and South America is very different from each other. So my heart really is to see this area one for Jesus and the gospel to be proclaimed, and for the kingdom of God to advance, like it was years ago, where John Wesley used to be a major player in our region. There used to be many Methodist churches scattered all over the area, but sadly they've mainly disappeared or turned into other buildings or mosques or temples or even buildings for housing. So our heart is to just bring in people who have a heart for God, heart for the kingdom of God. Our main need is just to have maturity. As you can imagine, with such a small amount of people who are followers of Christ, our major need in these church plants or mission communities is to have people who have an understanding of God and can mentor and train and disciple and coach and lead others and model the things of God to these people. We have a number of communities that we've planted. Some are small, very much starting off. Some are a lot bigger. Some are more traditional. Some are more innovative, missional focused. All very different, because different areas and different parts of the area have different needs. But our heart, like I say, is for people like Amy, Marshall, and the family to be involved in helping, supporting, growing, releasing, training, and just showing the love of God to a needy community. Britain isn't always what it seems. There are parts of Britain that are growing in Christian faith. There are always been places where historically there's been a great witness for God, places like London and Bristol. But Birmingham and certainly the Black Country has been an area where there's been deprived of that. And our heart is to change that, because we believe God has never left us. He's never not been interested in us. It's just we've never really understood that or really accepted that and maybe prayed for it. So our heart is to pray that our area would be changed, and our heart is to reach into the community where the people are. Our motto as a group, Church in the Community, is don't just go to church, be the church, and therefore live out wherever you are your faith, in the workplace, in the home, in your leisure time. God is Lord of all those things, and therefore that's our heart, to have people just reach into the community where they are. Yes, we want to gather, and we do on Sundays and throughout the week to share and do things together, but we also want to scatter to be amongst the people so that we become salt and light to them in this generation. Within all that, the local church is Church in the Community, but within that we work with GEM, and this is why Amy Marshall are connected with us. I'm one of the representatives for GEM in the country, but also work with CPI, which are in partnership together. And CPI stands for the Church Planter Initiative. Currently we are working with many church plants up and down the country, from Scotland right down to the south. And our local version of that is Growing Shoots, so we just want to establish little shoots out for God. And so some of our communities, like I say, are just literally a scattering of 10 people. Some are 50, some are larger, but the reality is we want to see loads and loads of these communities just scattered around in the local areas around the Black Country, a region of about 1.2 million people, so it's a fairly large area, urban area generally speaking, and our heart is to see the kingdom of God penetrating into their lives and changing them. Obviously, because of the needs here of people, many lives are broken, many lives are very different for a church culture. I was brought up in a Christian family, a very traditional one, and it took me a number of years to learn how people think and what people see of God. Today we live in a Western society in the UK where we've gone very much into a thinking of God is a fairy tale. We've gone way beyond the kind of postmodern normal ideas into something almost quite unique to the West at the moment. I guess America will be there themselves in future generations, if not sooner than later, so we can learn from each other. But just because culture changes doesn't mean that the hope of Christ does either. And we believe that in times of despair and in times of hopelessness and in times where there is great need, that's when really the church can rise and take action. And we're seeing, probably for the first time in 60, 70 years, there have been a growth in the church. It might be very small, it might just be an acorn size, it may just be a growing shoot, excuse the pun. But the reality is that we are seeing a change, and therefore we need people who have that maturity, who have that love from God, to come and walk with us and stand with us and to share in this work. And therefore we need you to partner with us too. Amy and Marshall cannot come on their own. They cannot come without finances. They cannot come without prayer. They cannot come without encouragement. And therefore I just urge you to share our vision and share our heart to see these communities formed across the region of the Black Country, and to continue to bring in people such as Amy and Marshall and their family to join us in this great work. So we thank you for your love, thank you for your prayers, we thank you for support, and we thank you for your heart to release great people for your kingdom like Amy and Marshall. And we just pray that together we'll form a great partnership as we serve together, whether it be in America or in England. And so God bless you, and thank you for your time.